Recording in progress.
Hello. Happy Sunday. My name's Janine. Welcome to your 6:45 Restore class. For a second there, I forgot what I was doing. So yes, we changed the time. It's now at 6:45. Okay, oops. There we go. Okay, now we're set. Technology, little computers, iPads, and so I got big fingers. And so it's really hard sometimes to find all the things that I need to find. Let's get started. Go ahead and come into easy pose. If you would like to sit on a blanket or a pillow to lift your hips up a little bit, go right ahead and do that. Sometimes when we lift the hips up, we will sit with our spine a little bit longer, and we will sit straighter, taller. And then we have that opportunity to have our knees below our hips, which is a little bit more comfortable as well. And just lay your hands in your lap. You don't have to do anything with them. And just breathe. Just inhale and exhale as you normally were before class started. Just allow the breath to come and go on its own. Also find a soft gaze with your eyes. Maybe they're closed. Maybe they're just looking down at the tip of the nose, or maybe they're focusing on something in the room. Either way, that's fine. Excuse me. Allow your shoulders to relax. Relax your face. Maybe open the mouth. And just like move the jaw around a little bit. And then just let it settle. Tonight's practice is all about the first sutra, which is Now Yoga Begins. That's translated from its Sanskrit, which is Atha Yoga Anahasham Anam. I'm not very good in Sanskrit, but it means now yoga begins. Just allow your breath to just come and go. And then be a little curious about it. And curious, I mean, where is the breath landing? Does it land here? Does it land here? Does it land down in the belly? Is your inhale longer than your exhale? Is your exhale rushed and your inhale slow? Just be curious about how that breath comes in and comes out of the body while we are here in stillness. And don't change anything, and know that there's no wrong answer. For those that are new to restorative yoga, we hold our poses from anywhere from 3 to 8 to 10 to 12 minutes. So I will speak in the beginning of the pose and then I'll be silent, because part of restorative yoga is that ability to rest, relax, and restore. So I'd like to give you that opportunity to be with yourself in the pose that you're in, knowing that there is no sensation, there is no stretching in restorative. It's all about the relaxation, the non-sensation. So if you feel a stretch or a sensation, try to allow yourself to become soft. Allow yourself to have ease in the pose. And always know that if a pose is just not working for you, this evening in this class, I would prefer that you move to another pose that is, instead of laying there in frustration. Many times we will do that. We will allow ourselves to just stay in this frustration, but that defeats the entire purpose of the practice. Also, please, if anything is painful in any way, please just move into a pose that is more comfortable, that is not painful, or fidget. We like to use lots of props in restorative. We cannot have enough props in restorative. So make sure that if you need an extra blanket, that you grab it. If you need an extra pillow, a couch cushion, whatever it is that you need, add it into the practice, or if you need to take it away, feel free to do that as well. Start to lengthen the breath. So allow your inhales to go deep down into the body and then allow them to come out nice and slow. So the deeper the inhale, the longer the exhale will be. And allow that exhale to take its time coming out. Don't rush it. We're going to bring our hands to heart center. Just allow the thumbs to rest on the sternum. And then interlace your fingers all the way down to the webbing and push your hands out in front. Just getting a little stretch. Don't do anything. Don't go to your edge. Just get a tiny little stretch for right now. And then lift the arms all the way up. Release the hands, push them out to the side, and then bring them back to heart center. We're going to do that one more time. Interlace the fingers, push out the hands, inhale the arms up, and then release the hands, exhale, push the arms out. And then just take gentle little side to side sways. So you can have the arm come all the way up if you'd like, or you could just keep the arms right here and just sway the body side to side. Sometimes we need to have some movement in order to find the stillness. We need to move that energy of the day, the energy of the last hour out of the body, so that we can then allow the energy of stillness, relaxation come into ourselves. Come back to center, hands in the lap. Take a nice big inhale through the nose. Hold it for a moment. And now exhale through the mouth, sigh it out. Inhale. And exhale, sigh it out. Nice. We're going to come into active rest. So we're going to come off of the blanket. We're not going to have any props on the mat. Leaving the soles of the feet on the floor, knees pointing up towards the sky. Slowly lower yourself down to the mat. Arms will be down by your side, knees pointing up to the sky. Legs are about hip width distance apart. And as you lay here in active rest, allow the very bottom of the back to come down onto the mat. And then lift the shoulders up and back and down and let them sink into the mat as well. Go ahead and close your eyes or find a soft gaze. And coming back to our theme this evening of Now Yoga Begins. The first words of the Yoga Sutras, Hatha Yoga Anahashanam, say it best. Now yoga begins. It doesn't begin after you drop off the kids or when you get on your mat. It begins now. It begins when you are on social media and wish you were having what everybody else seems to enjoy. It begins when you see your reflection and you have to be proud of you. It begins when you want to have your neighbor's pose instead of the hot mess on your own mat. Yoga begins when life is hardest and most uncomfortable, and not necessarily when you have prepared the puja. Accept yourself as being utterly whole and perfect. And if you can't think of something right off the top of your head, that is okay. But I am sure as you go through practice that you will be able to do so. And if yoga begins now, then you have arrived. Allow your whole back body to rest on the mat. Allow the front body to just drop into the back body. I'm going, stay right where you are. I'm going to get up and close the window so we don't have to hear the traffic. Studio is in Fountain, in like the center of town. On your next inhale, slowly roll to your left side. Allow your body to settle on the floor. And then very slowly push yourself up to a seated position. We're going to move into our first pose, which is a crisscross forward fold. And so we're going to use the bolster, blankets, pillows, whatever it is that you have available. And so we're going to cross our legs. So you can have them out straight if that feels good, or you can have them crisscross like this. Whatever feels most comfortable. Sometimes this can be a little pulling on the hips, especially since we're gonna go forward. And then taking your bolster, allowing it to rest on the knee. You're just gonna hug and come down. And halfway through, we'll switch the feet regardless of what pose that you're in, just so that we're balanced. So I'm crossing this way, which is actually called cow face. And I'm gonna take the bolster, I'm gonna rest it right here on my knee, just like this. And so if your legs are this way, you'll just allow the bolster to come up a little bit, kind of like hug it in front of you. I wanna make sure you can still hear me. or pillow or whatever it is that you have today. And then allow the head to relax. So let the chin fall. And as we are here, notice that we have a tiny bit of a slouch in our back. So the low back has relaxed and the shoulders have come forward just a little bit. And as they come forward, they're allowing the back spine, the back body to be rounded, and the front body is compressing with ease and softness as always. So try to take your breath and breathe into the back body. And remember, a pose is perfect if it feels right. A pose is perfect if it feels right. So very gently, no matter where you are, allow yourself to come up. And we're just gonna switch the feet. So I had my right knee over first, so this time, or my right leg, so this time I'm gonna have my left over. And whatever you crisscross, crisscross the opposite. And then I'm gonna bring my bolster right back. I'm gonna hug my bolster, and then I'm gonna lay my head down on the bolster. So if you were laying on one side, make sure that you switch to the other side. Continue to breathe into the back body. Very slowly. Take a nice deep inhale. As you take a deep inhale, round yourself up, allowing the chin to lift last. When the chin lifts, take your exhale. Nice. We're going to move into our next pose, which is going to be pigeon. But we're going to have all the cushioning that we need. So we're going to take a blanket and put it on your mat so that your knees have a nice soft place to land. Also, if you take the right side, because we'll bring our right leg forward first. If you take that right side and diagonally bring it in like this, and then bring that down like this, then your hip can rest right here on this. I don't know if you can see it. So your hip can rest right here. So you've kind of like made a little pillow for your hip once we get into the pose. So start with it there. And then if you need it a little bit more, maybe move that a little bit in so it's lined up with your hip. We'll start in tabletop first. So this will be a nice little gentle tabletop. We're not going to do anything while we're here. It's just easier to get into pigeon from this space right here. So taking the right leg, we're going to bring the right leg in above the blanket. This foot may stay on the blanket, and that's okay. And if you need to move the blanket down a little bit so that your knee can be on it, go ahead. And then we're going to slide that left leg back. And then you'll notice that little pillow that we made with the blanket will sit underneath your hip. So square your shoulders and your hips. Now I know it's hard because we can't see our hips, but that's okay. I want you to visualize where your hips are and then see if you can rock side to side, just tiny, tiny movements till they feel nice and squared. You'll know when it's there. You will know. And then, I should have said this before, the bolster or pillow, my apologies. We'll put that right there in front. And then we can come down and lay on the bolster. Or you can just rest on it like this. Remember, no strain, no stretch, no pain. We want to be completely relaxed. We want to find the softness here. Settle in, close your eyes. Loving yourself is not vanity, it's sanity. Loving yourself is not vanity, it's sanity. So very slowly push yourself up. So you might have your hands on the pillow. Bring them down to the mat. And we're going to bring the left knee in, bring the right knee back, and go right into a child's pose, just like this. And we're just going to stay there for a couple of breaths. And then with your next inhale, come back up and sit hips to heels for a moment because we need to switch the blanket. So we're going to make that, undo that on this side, and then we're going to fold it in like this and then fold like that. And then of course, if you need more, you'll just fold it some more. And this is where our hip's going to go because we're going to bring our left leg forward this time. So come into your tabletop, a nice loose tabletop. If you need a cat-cow or you circle your hips or something, please by all means take it now. That's perfectly okay. Sometimes we just need a little bit of movement before you move into our next pose, and that's okay. But from tabletop, we're going to bring our left leg up, and then we're going to allow our right leg to go all the way back behind us like that. And then I'm going to move this under my hip right here. And then move yourself around so that you are now visualizing your hips being completely square to the mat. You may need to roll to one side or the other a little bit. Very small movements because I'm sure you are not that far off. So just little movements. And then when you are there, wherever you put your arms on the other side, do that on this side. Maybe you laid all it, or maybe this side you don't want the bolster or you need more pillows. You know, bring all the things to you. And then as we're here in pigeon, pigeon can sometimes be a very difficult pose or a pose that has a lot of sensation in the body. If that is true for you, see if you can breathe into that space and allow it to relax a little bit more. And if you can't find a comfortable position here, by all means, please come out of it and just take a belly shavasana. That's fine as well. It may not be perfect, but it's perfect for you. It may not be perfect, but it's perfect for you. Very slowly start to bring yourself up. So your hands are on the mat, just like we did last time. And we're just gonna come back on that right knee and then slide that left leg back. So we're on our knees and we're gonna come into that child's pose again. And then very slowly come up and come onto your hip and bring your legs out in front. And we're gonna come laying down on our back. No pillow or anything under your head, but I do want you to take this blanket once you get so you want the blanket to be long so that it sticks out on each side like this. Or at least put most of it on your left side for right now. And then go ahead and lay back. And just take a moment to let the body settle into the floor. Because we've been doing a lot of folding forwards, we haven't really spent a lot of time with the back body closed and the front body open. Take your left foot, bring it onto the blanket. And then take your right ankle, bring it onto the left knee. Allow your arms to come out, no higher than shoulder height. Just let them lay this way. And we're going to fall to the left for a twist. So our right sole of our foot is coming down onto the mat and our knee is staying right there. So see how the knee fell on the blanket, so you have some padding under the blanket. And then if it's comfortable for you, gaze to your right. If not, gaze to your left, or just look up at the ceiling. If you need to bring that left foot out a little bit so the knee is, so it's not so tight, go ahead and do that as well. And while you're here, direct the breath into the right side of the body. So we were breathing into the back body. This time we're going to breathe into the right side of the body. And sometimes that might be hard to physically do. And it's not so much as physically doing it, it's imagining that that's where the breath is going. So imagine how your breath comes in and it's just going down and it's just settling right here into the right hip. And maybe give you a breath of color. Maybe make it your favorite color so you can actually visualize that going into your hip. And you would be surprised how many times when we visualize something that's actually what happens is it becomes what we actually are doing. So as we are visualizing this breath going in there, your breath will be directed because that will be your intention. Be happy where you are. Be happy where you are. And if your mind is deciding that this is a good time to be busy, just come back to the breath. You can say inhale, exhale, and that'll give the mind something to focus on. Very slowly bring yourself back up to center. Take that right leg and just straighten it out. Nice and long, all the way down to the floor. Maybe move your head side to side. And then pull your blanket so it comes over to the other side. Whew. Now bring the right sole of the foot to the mat. Take the left ankle, place it onto the right knee. And then we're gonna fall to the right, just like we did on the other side. Arms are teed out. And this time we're gonna breathe into that left side. Right here, we're gonna breathe right here into this hip. Remember, visualization helps you get to where you want a direction to be. And remember, with each breath, you arrive. With each breath, you arrive. Very slowly bring yourself back to center. Straighten that left leg out all the way down to the ground. And now we're going to move into our final pose, Shavasana. So laying on the back, you can have a blanket underneath your knees. You can keep the soles of your feet on the floor, have the knees bent. You can lay on your side, you can lay on your belly, whatever is going to allow you to fully relax. That's the pose I want you to take for your Shavasana. Allow the hands on the belly. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Allow the shoulder blades to relax on the mat. So they start to separate a little bit. Let the body become heavy every time you take an exhale. And as you're laying here in your Shavasana, take a little body scan. Start from the toes, work your way up to the legs, the front body, the back body, the arms, the head, the forehead, the face, the throat. And if there's any spaces that feel sticky or stuck or uncomfortable, allow your breath to go into that space and allow it to find ease and softness. Start to take your thumb and rub over each finger pad, just bringing some soft, gentle, slow movements back to the body. Maybe start to wiggle your toes. Maybe open and close the fist, the hands. Make a fist and open. A nice soft one. Maybe take some ankle circles with the feet. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. With your next inhale, roll to your left side. And then very slowly bring yourself up to a seated position. Once you are there, bring your hands to heart center. Take a nice big inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth and bow your head. And give yourself some gratitude for taking time out of your day to give yourself some self-love. Remembering that now yoga begins anywhere and everywhere that you are. Be happy where you are and know that you are always complete. Thank you so much for coming to class this evening. It was my pleasure to guide you through practice. I bow to you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and have a very good week. I will be back on Wednesday at 6:45. I hope to see you then.